Commander Jake Morrison stared at the screen in front of him. The numbers were wrong. They had to be wrong. But the computer kept showing the same thing over and over again. Something big was coming toward Earth. Something very big. Jake worked on the Earth Defense Station called Vigilant. It was a space station that watched for danger from other planets. For 20 years, Jake had looked at empty space through his screens. Today was different. Today, the screens showed ships. Lots of ships. Ships that were not from Earth. "Amy, come look at this," Jake called to Lieutenant Amy Fletcher. She was the person who studied alien languages. If aliens ever talked to Earth, Amy would be the one to understand them. Amy walked over to Jake's station. Her face went pale when she saw the screen. "How many ships are there?" she asked. "The computer says 200, maybe more. They're still coming out of some kind of space tunnel," Jake answered. He had never seen anything like it. The ships were huge, much bigger than anything Earth had ever built. Chief Engineer Ryan Carter ran over to them. Ryan fixed things when they broke. He was good at his job, but he looked scared now. "Jake, these ships are not like ours. They're using power sources we don't understand. The energy readings are off the charts." Jake pressed a button to call. "Earth Control, this is Vigilant Station. We have a situation. Unknown ships are entering our solar system." "Repeat, unknown ships are entering our solar system." The voice from Earth Control crackled through the radio. "Vigilant, how many ships?" "Over 200, sir. They're big. Really big, and they're not trying to talk to us." Far away from Earth, the alien ships moved in perfect formation. They belonged to something called the Zephyrian Empire. The Empire had been taking over planets for hundreds of years. They were very good at it. They had big ships, powerful weapons, and they never lost a fight. Admiral Cathfar stood on the bridge of his flagship. He was tall and thin, with gray skin and forearms. His species had been fighting wars for a very long time. To him, Earth was just another small planet full of weak creatures that needed to be conquered. "Report," Admiral Cathfar said to his officer. "Sir, we have entered the system. Our scouts say the inhabitants are very primitive. They have some space travel, but their weapons are weak. This should be easy." Admiral Cathfar nodded. "Good. Begin the attack. Target their mining stations first. Show them what happens when they resist the Empire." The alien ships opened fire without warning. Bright beams of energy shot out from their weapons. The beams hit the mining stations in the asteroid belt. The stations exploded in balls of fire and metal. 3,000 people died in the first 10 seconds. Captain Lisa Morgan was flying her patrol ship, the Defiant, near the asteroid belt. She watched in horror as the mining stations were destroyed. Her radio filled with screams and calls for help. Then there was only silence. "This is Captain Morgan to Earth Control. The mining stations are gone. All of them. The alien ships destroyed. Them without warning. They just killed everyone." Lisa's hands shook as she tried to steer her small ship away from the alien fleet. The enemy ships were so big that her entire ship could fit inside one of their weapon ports. She had never felt so small and helpless. On Earth, President Helen Carter sat in the White House Situation Room. She was Ryan Carter's sister, but right now she was not thinking about family. She was thinking about the 3,000 people who had just died. She was thinking about the alien ships that were moving toward Earth. "How long do we have?" she asked General Paul Hayes. "At their current speed, maybe 18 hours before they reach Earth," the general answered. "Our space fleet is moving to intercept, but ... He did not finish the sentence. Everyone in the room knew what he meant. Earth's ships were too small and too few. Admiral Susan Wright looked at the reports coming in from space. She had been in the military for 30 years. She had fought in 3 wars. But she had never seen anything like this. Madam President, our conventional forces cannot stop them. We need to consider other options. What other options? President Carter asked. Dr. Alex Turner stepped forward. He was a scientist who worked on secret projects. Very secret projects. Madam President, there are things you need to know. Things we have been working on for a very long time. What kind of things? The kind of things we hoped we would never need to use. Back in space, the alien fleet continued its advance. Admiral Kethvar watched as his ships destroyed everything in their path. Satellites, space stations, anything that might be used as a weapon. The humans were not even fighting back. This was going to be easier than he thought. Sir, his communication? Officer said, "We are receiving a transmission from the planet." "Put it through," Admiral Kethvar ordered. The message was simple and short. A human voice speaking in the Empire's language. "This is Earth. We know you are coming. We ask you to stop your attack and leave our system. We do not want to fight." Admiral Kethvar laughed. It was a harsh sound that made his officers step back. Reply to them. Tell them they have 24 hours to surrender completely. If they do not surrender, we will destroy their entire planet. No one will be left alive. The message was sent to Earth. In the White House, President Carter listened to the alien ultimatum. 24 hours to surrender or face total destruction. The choice seemed obvious. Earth could not fight ships that big and that powerful. But Dr. Turner had a different idea. "Madam President, we need to go to Cheyenne Mountain. There are things there that can help us. Things that have been waiting for 40 years. President Carter looked at the scientist. 40 years? What are you talking about? Ma'am, we have been preparing for this day since 1985. We knew they were coming. We have been getting ready. As the alien fleet moved closer to Earth, people in the deepest parts of Cheyenne Mountain began to wake up machines that had been sleeping for decades. The Empire thought they were attacking a weak and helpless planet. They were about to learn that Earth had been waiting for them. And Earth was ready. Admiral Susan Wright walked through the tunnels deep under Cheyenne Mountain. She had been here before, but not like this. Not during a real emergency. The tunnels were carved from solid rock and went down for miles. Very few people knew what was really down here. Colonel Tim Brooks walked beside her. He was a soldier who planned battles. He had studied every war in human history, but he had never planned a battle against aliens from another planet. "How long have we been preparing?" "For this?" Colonel Brooks asked. "Since 1985, Admiral Wright answered. That's when we found the first probe. They reached a huge metal door. Admiral Wright put her hand on a scanner. The door opened with a soft hiss. Inside was a room full of computers and screens. People in military uniforms worked at the computers. They had been waiting for this day for 40 years. Dr. Sarah Kim looked up from her computer. She was the lead scientist on something called Project Prometheus. The project was so secret that even most generals did not know about it. "Admiral, the system is ready," Dr. Kim said. "We just need the President's final approval." Far above them, President Carter was being driven to Cheyenne Mountain in a convoy of armored cars. She still did not understand what was happening. How could Earth be ready for an alien invasion? How could they have been preparing since 1985? In space, Jake Morrison watched the alien ships getting closer to Earth. His space station was small and weak compared to the enemy fleet. But he had been given orders to stay and watch. Someone needed to see what happened next. "Jake, I'm picking up more ships," Amy Fletcher said. She was still trying to understand the alien language. "They're talking about something called the Final cleansing. I don't think they plan to keep any of us alive. Ryan Carter checked his instruments. The lead ships will be in Earth orbit in 6 hours. After that, they can start bombing the planet. Jake nodded. He had already sent his report to Earth. Now all he could do was wait and watch. On the alien flagship, Admiral Kethfer studied the reports about Earth. His officers had been watching the human planet for weeks. They knew about Earth's armies, navies, and air forces. They knew about the nuclear weapons. None of it worried him. "Sir, the humans have nuclear weapons," his science officer reported. "But their delivery systems are primitive. Our shields can stop anything they have." "Good," Admiral Kethfer said. "Begin moving the fleet into attack position. I want to be ready to destroy their major cities the moment their surrender deadline ends." The alien ships spread out around Earth like a giant net. Each ship was the size of a small city. They carried weapons that could destroy continents. The Empire had used these same ships to conquer 17 other worlds. Earth would be number 18 but deep under Cheyenne Mountain, something was waking up. President Carter arrived at the mountain just as the sun was setting. She was taken through security checkpoints that she had never seen before. Each checkpoint had soldiers with weapons she did not recognize. Finally, she reached the command center. "Madam President, welcome to the real Pentagon," Dr. Turner said. "What you see up in Washington is mostly for show. This is where we really defend America." President Carter looked around the enormous room. The walls were covered with screens showing views of space. She could see the alien ships getting closer to Earth. "How is this possible? How could you build all this without me knowing?" "Because some secrets are too important to share," Admiral Wright answered, "even with the president. This facility has been built by 8 different presidents over 40 years. Each one was told only what they needed to know." "And what do I need to know?" Dr. Turner pressed a button. The screens changed to show something that made President Carter gasp. It was a spaceship, but not like any spaceship she had ever seen. It was sleek and silver, and it seemed to glow with its own light. "This is the real Project Prometheus," Dr. Turner said. "We have been building it since we captured our first alien probe in 1985. It uses technology that we reverse engineered." "From that probe, one ship?" President Carter asked. "You want to fight 200 alien ships with one ship?" "Not fight," Admiral Wright said. "Warn." On his space station, Jake Morrison received new orders. He was to take command of a special ship called the Whisper. The ship would meet him at coordinates near the moon. Jake had never heard of the Whisper, but his orders came from the highest levels of command. "Amy, Ryan, you're with me," Jake said. "We're getting a new ship." The 3 of them climbed into a small shuttle and flew toward the moon. What they found there made them stop and stare. The Whisper was unlike anything they had ever seen. It was black as space itself and seemed to bend light around it. "This is impossible," Ryan said. "We don't have technology like this." "We do now." Jake answered. He had been given a code phrase to use. When he said it, the ship's doors opened. Inside, the Whisper was full of controls and screens that looked more alien than human back under Cheyenne Mountain. President Carter made the hardest decision of her life. "Send the warning," she said. The message went out on every frequency that humans knew. It was translated into every alien language that had been recorded. The message was simple. "This is Earth. You have attacked our people without provocation. You have 1 hour to withdraw beyond the orbit of Pluto. This is your only warning. We will not repeat it." Admiral Kethfer received the message on his flagship. He read it 3 times, then started laughing. His officers looked at him strangely. "Sir?" One of them asked. "The humans think they can threaten us," Admiral Kethfer said. "Their most powerful weapons are nuclear bombs. We conquered planets with nuclear weapons before your grandfather was born. This is amusing. Should we respond, sir? No. Let them. Wait. In 1 hour, we will begin the bombardment. Maybe some of them will survive long enough to regret their foolishness. The alien fleet moved into final position. Their weapons charged up. Earth seemed helpless and small compared to their massive ships. In 1 hour, the bombardment would begin. But on Earth, other things were happening. Deep under mountains and oceans, facilities that had been hidden for decades came online. Weapons that had been tested in secret began to power up. Soldiers who had trained for this moment their entire lives took their positions. Jake Morrison piloted the Whisper toward the alien fleet. The ship was unlike anything he had ever flown. It did not make noise. It did not show up on any sensors. It could go faster than light without entering hyperspace. Jake, I'm reading massive energy buildups from the alien ships. Amy reported. They're getting ready to fire. Then it's time, Jake said. He opened a communication channel to the alien. Flagship. Admiral Kethver, this is Captain Morrison of Earth. Your hour is up. Last chance to leave. On the alien flagship, Admiral Kethver smiled. Captain Morrison, you are brave but foolish. Look around you. You are one small ship against 200 of ours. Surrender now, and we will make your death quick. No, Jake said. You don't understand. We're not surrendering. We're not even fighting. We're just keeping our promise. What promise? We promised to give you a warning. This is Earth's response. The hour was up. The alien fleet prepared to fire. But they were about to learn that. Earth had been preparing for this moment much longer than they had been preparing to attack. Earth was ready to show them what 40 years of preparation could accomplish. The alien fleet opened fire on Earth. 200 ships shot their most powerful weapons at the planet. The beams of energy were bright enough to be seen from Mars. Each beam carried enough power to destroy a mountain, but something impossible happened. The beams hit an invisible shield around Earth and disappeared. Not even a flicker of light reached the planet's surface. The shield absorbed every bit of energy as if it was nothing. Admiral Kethver stared at his screens in shock. What happened? Why didn't our weapons work? His science officer checked the readings 3 times before answering. Sir, the planet has some kind of shield, but that's impossible. Our sensors said they only had primitive technology. Check the sensors again. I have, sir. The readings are correct. Their shield is using energy patterns we have never seen before. It's like they're using laws of physics that we don't understand. On Earth, people looked up at the sky. They had been told to expect the attack. They had been told that Earth would be protected. But seeing the shield work was still amazing. The night sky lit up like day as the alien weapons hit the shield, but not a single beam got through Dot in the command center under Cheyenne Mountain. Admiral Wright watched the battle on her screens. Phase 1 is complete. The planetary shield is holding. Begin Phase 2. Dr. Kim pressed a series of buttons. Phase 2 initiating. Gravity manipulation system online. Far above Earth, something strange started happening to the alien flagship. The huge ship began to slow down. Then it stopped moving completely. Admiral Kethver felt his ship shake as invisible forces grabbed it. Report, he shouted. Sir, we're caught in some kind of gravity field. The field is getting stronger. Hull. Stress is increasing. Admiral Kethver looked at the readings. The gravity around his ship was becoming 10 times stronger than normal. Then 20 times. Then 50 times. The metal hull of his ship began to bend and crack. Emergency power to engines. He ordered, Get us out of here. We're trying, sir. The engines are at full power, but we're not moving. All around the alien fleet, the same thing was happening. Earth's gravity manipulation system had trapped every single alien ship. They could not move forward or backward. They could not escape. Colonel Brooks coordinated the attack from his station. Team Alpha, target the destroyers on the left flank. Team Beta, take the cruisers on the right. Remember, this is a demonstration. We want them to understand, not just die. On the lunar base, Major Kate Sullivan watched her screens as Earth's weapons came online. The base on the moon had been hidden for 20 years. It looked like a research station, but it was really a weapons platform. Lunar base to Earth control. We have target lock on 12 enemy ships. Ready to fire on your command. Fire when. Ready. Admiral Wright replied. The lunar base shot a beam of energy at 3 alien destroyers. But this was not like any weapon the Empire had ever seen. The beam did not explode the ships. Instead, it made them smaller. The destroyers, each 1 kilometer long, were compressed into balls of metal the size of cars. The alien crews had no time to scream. 1 second they were on a massive warship. The next second they were gone, crushed by forces that turned their ships into tiny spheres of super-dense metal. Gravity weapons, Admiral Kethfer whispered. They have gravity weapons. His science. Officer was shaking. Sir, that's impossible. Gravity weapons are theoretical. No one has ever built one that actually works. Someone has, Admiral Kethfer said. The question is who? And how? From Mars Base Alpha, Major Sullivan coordinated with her team. The base on Mars had been disguised as a mining operation. In reality, it was another weapons platform, armed, with technology that the Empire had never encountered. Mars base to Earth control. We have the enemy battle cruisers in our sights. Request permission to demonstrate space-time manipulation. Permission granted. Show them what we can do. The Mars base fired a different kind of weapon. This one did not compress matter. Instead, it twisted space itself. 5 alien battle cruisers suddenly found themselves turned inside out. Their hulls became their interiors. Their engines became their bridges. The ships were still there, but they were wrong in ways that hurt to look at. Jake Morrison piloted the Whisper closer to the alien flagship. His ship was invisible to their sensors, so he could get as close as he wanted. He opened a communication channel to Admiral Kethfer. Admiral, this is Captain Morrison. Do you see what's happening to your fleet? What are you? Admiral Kethfor asked. His voice was full of fear now. We're humans. We're the people you thought were primitive. We're the species you decided to conquer without even trying to talk to us first. Your technology is impossible. Our scientists say these weapons cannot exist. Your scientists are wrong. We've been building these weapons for 40 years. We've been waiting for you. Admiral Kethfer looked at his fleet. Half of his ships were trapped in gravity fields. A dozen had been compressed into metal balls. 5 had been turned inside out. The humans had destroyed or disabled 50 ships without even seeming to try hard. What do you want? He asked. We want you to leave. We want you to never come back. We want you to tell your empire that Earth is not interested in being conquered. And if we refuse? Jake Morrison smiled, though the alien could not see it. Then, we'll show you what our real weapons can do. Everything you've seen so far is just a demonstration. Amy Fletcher had been listening to alien communications. Jake, they're calling for reinforcements. The Empire is sending more ships. How many more? At least 500, maybe 1,000. They're classifying us as a Class A threat. Ryan Carter checked his instruments. The Whisper's weapons are fully charged. This ship has enough firepower to destroy their entire fleet. I know, Jake said. But that's not the point. The point is to make them understand that attacking Earth was a mistake. On the alien flagship, Admiral Kethfer was getting reports from across his fleet. His officers were terrified. They had never seen weapons like this. They had never fought an enemy that could manipulate gravity and space-time. "Sir," his communication officer said, "we're receiving a transmission from the human planet. They want to talk. Put it through." Admiral Wright's voice came through the speakers. "Admiral Kethfer, this is Admiral Wright of Earth Defense Command. You attacked our people without warning. You killed 3,000 civilians. You threatened to destroy our entire planet. We could have destroyed your entire fleet by now, but we chose not to. Do you know why?" "No," Admiral Kethfer admitted, "because we're not like you. We don't kill people just because we can. We defend ourselves when we have to, but we don't enjoy it. Your empire has been conquering worlds for centuries. That stops now. You cannot stop the empire. We have thousands of ships, millions of soldiers. Admiral, look at your fleet. Look at what we did to your ships. We trapped them with gravity. We compressed them with space-time manipulation. We turned them inside out with dimensional weapons. And we did it all without really trying. Do you think your reinforcements will do better?" Admiral Kethfer looked at his screens. His proud fleet was helpless. Ships that had conquered 17 worlds could not even move. The humans had weapons that his scientists said were impossible. "What happens now?" he asked. "Now you send a message to your empire. You tell them that Earth is under new management. You tell them that humans are not primitive. You tell them that the age of conquest is over. And if the empire does not listen, then we'll have to explain it to them in person. And Admiral, we're very good at explaining things." As Admiral Kethvar looked at his ruined fleet, he realized that his empire had made a terrible mistake. They had thought Earth weak. They had thought humans were primitive. They had thought this would be easy. They had been wrong about everything. And now they were going to pay for their mistake. The alien reinforcement fleet came out of hyperspace expecting to find Earth in ruins. Instead, they found something that made no sense. The original invasion fleet was floating helplessly in space. Some ships looked normal, but could not move. Others had been crushed into metal balls. A few had been twisted into shapes that hurt to look at. Admiral Kethvar sent a desperate message to the new fleet commander. "Do not attack the planet. I repeat, do not attack the planet. The humans are not what we thought they were." Commander Veltar led the reinforcement fleet. He had conquered 12 worlds for the Empire. He had never seen Admiral Kethvar sound scared before. "Explain yourself, Admiral." "They have weapons we cannot understand. They can control gravity. They can twist space and time. They disabled my entire fleet without even trying hard. That's impossible. Our intelligence reports said they were primitive. Our intelligence reports were wrong, very wrong." On Earth, President Carter sat in the command center under Cheyenne Mountain. She was beginning to understand what her government had been hiding from her. "Dr. Turner, explain to me how we have technology that can do impossible things." Dr. Turner pulled up files on his computer. "Madam President, in 1985, we detected and captured a probe from the Zephyrian Empire. It was the size of a car and had been watching Earth for months. When we studied it, we found technology that was centuries ahead of ours. So you reverse engineered it?" "Not exactly. We learned from it. The probe had databases with information about Empire technology, military tactics, and conquest methods. We used that information to build defenses." Admiral Wright joined the conversation. "The probe also told us about other species the Empire had conquered. We learned about their weapons, their ships, their strategies. We had 40 years to prepare." "But how did you build weapons that are better than theirs?" Dr. Kim answered that question. "Because we didn't just copy their technology. We improved it. We took their basic concepts and made them better. We had the advantage of starting fresh, while They were stuck with old designs. President Carter looked at the screens showing the alien fleets. How many people knew about this? Very few, Dr. Turner said. Each president was told only what they needed to know. Most of Congress didn't know. Even most of the military didn't know. The secret was kept by less than 1,000 people over 40 years. And now? Now the secret is out. The aliens know we're not primitive. Soon the whole galaxy will know. In space, Jake Morrison's ship, the Whisper, moved between the two alien fleets. The ship was invisible to their sensors, but Jake could see everything. The reinforcement fleet had over 500 ships. They were bigger and more advanced than the first fleet. Amy, what are they saying? Jake asked. Amy Fletcher listened. To the alien communications? The new fleet commander doesn't believe Admiral Kethfer's reports. He thinks the first fleet was defeated by luck or trickery. And Admiral Kethfer? He's trying to convince them to retreat. He's telling them that Earth is too dangerous to attack. Ryan Carter checked his instruments. The new fleet is powering up their weapons. They're going to attack. Jake opened a communication channel to the reinforcement fleet. Commander Veltar, this is Captain Morrison of Earth. Admiral Kethfer is telling you the truth. You should listen to him. Captain Morrison, I am Commander Veltar of the Zephyrian Empire. You will surrender immediately or face the consequences. Commander, look at Admiral Kethfer's fleet. Do you see what happened to his ships? We did that. We can do it to your fleet too. You got lucky once. You will not get lucky again. It wasn't luck. It was technology. Technology that your empire can't match. Commander Veltar laughed. Primitive species always think their crude weapons are better than they really are. You will learn. Jake sighed. I tried to warn you. Amy, send the message to Earth Control. Tell them the new fleet is hostile. In the command center, Admiral Wright received Jake's message. She looked at President Carter. Madam President, the reinforcement fleet is preparing to attack. We need permission to defend ourselves. President Carter thought about the 3,000 people who had died in the first attack. She thought about the aliens who had come to conquer Earth without even trying to talk. She thought about the fact that they were still threatening her planet even after seeing what Earth could do. You have permission to defend Earth, she said. Admiral Wright nodded. Colonel Brooks, activate all defense systems. Show them what we can really do. Around the solar system, hidden bases came online. The base on Ceres asteroid looked like a mining station, but it was really a weapons platform. The base on Europa looked like a research facility, but it was armed with gravity weapons. The base on Titan looked like a fuel depot, but it could manipulate space-time. All stations report ready, Colonel Brooks announced. Begin demonstration, Admiral Wright ordered. The hidden bases fired at the same time. But these were not the same weapons they had used on the first fleet. These were the weapons they had been saving for a real emergency. The Ceres base fired a beam that made 10 alien ships simply disappear. They didn't explode. They didn't get crushed. They just stopped existing. The Europa base fired a weapon that made 20 ships age 1,000,000 years in 10 seconds. The metal corroded away. The engines died. The ships became ancient wrecks floating in space. The Titan base fired a weapon that sent 30 ships into a different dimension. The ships were still there, but they were also somewhere else. They could not move or communicate or fight. Commander. Veltar watched in horror as 60 of his ships were destroyed or disabled in less than a minute. What are these weapons? How is this possible? His science officer was shaking. Sir, they're using technology that shouldn't exist. They're manipulating the basic forces of the universe. Can we fight them? No, sir. We can't even understand what they're doing. They're using physics that we don't know about. Jake Morrison opened another communication channel. Commander Veltar, do you want to see more? We have weapons that can destroy stars. We have weapons that can make black holes. We have weapons that can turn back time. Do you want us to use them? You're bluffing. No one has technology like that. Admiral Kethvar thought the same thing. Look at his fleet. Look at your fleet. We're not bluffing. Dr. Kim was monitoring the battle from Earth. Admiral Wright, we're getting energy readings from all over the galaxy. Other species are detecting our weapons. The whole galaxy is watching. Good, Admiral Wright said. Let them watch. Let them see what happens when someone attacks Earth. Amy. Fletcher was still listening to alien communications. Jake, Commander Veltar is calling for backup. He's asking the Empire to send their entire fleet. How many ships would that be? Thousands, maybe tens of thousands. The Empire has been building ships for centuries. And what does Admiral Kethvar say? He's telling them not to come. He's saying that Earth is too dangerous. He's saying that humans are not a species to be conquered. Jake smiled. Finally, someone who understands. On the alien flagship, Admiral. Kethvar was having the hardest conversation of his life. He was trying to convince his own empire not to attack Earth. He was trying to tell them that humans were too powerful to fight. High Command, this is Admiral Kethvar. I am recommending that we classify Earth as a forbidden zone. The humans have technology that is beyond our understanding. They have weapons that can destroy entire fleets. They are not a species we can conquer. The voice from High Command was angry. Admiral, you are telling us that a primitive species defeated 2 fleets of our best ships? They are not primitive. They have been preparing for this fight for decades. They knew we were coming. They were ready. Impossible. High Command, they have ships that are invisible to our sensors. They have weapons that can manipulate gravity and space-time. They have defenses that can stop our most powerful attacks. And they have been holding back. They could have destroyed both fleets completely, but they chose not to. What do you mean? They are not trying to conquer us. They are trying to teach us a lesson. The lesson is that Earth is not to be attacked. Ever. There was a long silence from High Command. Finally, they spoke again. Admiral, you are relieved of command. Commander Veltar will take charge of the operation. High Command, please listen to me. Do not send more ships. Do not attack Earth. The humans are too powerful. They will destroy everything we send. That is enough, Admiral. You are to return to the home world immediately. Admiral Kethvar looked at his ruined fleet. He had tried to warn them. He had tried to make them understand. But the Empire was too proud to listen, and that pride was going to cost them everything. The Empire's main fleet arrived 3 days later. Over 3,000 ships came out of hyperspace around Earth. They were the biggest and most powerful ships the Empire had ever built. Ships that had conquered hundreds of worlds. Ships that had never lost a battle. Admiral Kethvar watched from his damaged flagship as the massive fleet took positions around Earth. He had been relieved of command, but he was still there. He wanted to see what would happen when the Empire's pride met. Earth's reality. The new fleet commander was Admiral Zephron, the Empire's greatest military leader. He had never lost a battle in 300 years of service. He was confident that he could succeed where the others had failed. Admiral Kethvar, Admiral Zephron said over the communication channel, you will explain to me how you lost 2 fleets to a primitive species. Sir, with respect, they are not primitive. They have technology that is more advanced than ours. They have weapons that can do impossible things. Nothing is impossible for the Empire. We have the largest fleet in the galaxy. We have the most powerful weapons. We have conquered more worlds than any other species in history. Sir, none of that matters. The humans have been preparing for this fight for 40 years. They knew. We were coming. They have weapons that can make our ships disappear. They have shields that can stop all of our attacks. Admiral Zifron looked at the reports from the previous battles. He did not want to believe them, but the evidence was clear. Earth had destroyed or disabled hundreds of ships without taking any damage. Perhaps the previous commanders were not aggressive enough, Admiral Zefron said. Perhaps they held back too much. I will not make that mistake. On Earth, Admiral Wright watched the new alien fleet take positions. They brought everything. She said to President Carter, "Every ship the Empire has. They're betting their entire military on this attack." "Can we stop them?" President Carter asked. "Yes," Dr. Turner said, "but not the same way we stopped the others. This time, we need to make a statement that the entire galaxy will understand." Colonel Brooks was coordinating with defense stations. Throughout the solar system, all stations report ready. We have full power to all weapon systems. What about our new allies? Admiral Wright asked. Dr. Kim smiled. They're ready too. 17 worlds have accepted our offer of protection. They're standing by to help. President Carter looked confused. What allies? What 17 worlds? The worlds that the Empire conquered, Dr. Turner explained. We contacted them 3 days ago. We offered to help them become free. Most of them said yes. Jake Morrison was still flying the Whisper near the alien fleets. But now he was not. Alone. Other Earth ships had joined him. Ships that had been hidden for decades. The Phantom, the Ghost, the Shadow. All of them invisible to alien sensors. "Jake, I'm detecting massive power buildups from the Empire fleet," Amy Fletcher reported. "They're preparing to attack with everything they have." "Then it's time to show them why that's a bad idea," Jake said. He opened a communication channel to Admiral Zefron. "Admiral, this is Captain Morrison of Earth. You have one chance to withdraw your fleet and leave our system. Captain Morrison, I am Admiral Zefron of the Imperial Fleet. I have 3,000 ships under my command. You will surrender immediately." "Admiral?" 2 other fleet commanders said the same thing. "Look what happened to their ships. I am not like the others. I do not make their mistakes." "No, you're making a different mistake. You're making a bigger mistake." Admiral Zefron laughed. "What mistake am I making?" "You brought your entire fleet. When we destroy it, the Empire will have no ships left. You cannot destroy 3,000 ships. Watch us." Admiral Wright gave the order from Earth. "All stations, begin final demonstration. Show them what Earth can really do." What happened next changed the galaxy forever. The hidden base on Ceres fired a weapon that created a black hole in the middle of the alien fleet. Not a big black hole, just big enough to swallow 50 ships before it evaporated. The ships disappeared completely, pulled into a point smaller than a grain of sand. The base on Europa fired a weapon that reversed time for a section of space. 200 alien ships suddenly found themselves moving backward through time. They became younger and younger until they were just raw materials floating in space. The base on Titan fired a weapon that changed the laws of physics in a small area. Gravity stopped working. Light moved at different speeds. Matter became energy, and energy became matter. 100 ships were caught in the effect and simply stopped making sense. But that was just the beginning. From Earth itself came a weapon that no one had seen before. A beam of pure creation that could make new stars. Admiral Wright pointed. It had empty space near the alien fleet and created a small sun. The new star burned bright and hot, and its gravity pulled in everything nearby. Major Sullivan coordinated from Mars Base Alpha. "Earth Control, we have target lock on the enemy command ship. Ready to demonstrate dimensional folding. Fire when ready." The Mars base fired a weapon that folded space around Admiral Zephron's flagship. The ship was still there, but it was also everywhere else at the same time. The crew could see themselves from every possible angle. They existed in all dimensions at once. From hidden bases throughout the solar system, Earth fired weapons that the Empire had never imagined. Weapons that could age matter instantly. Weapons that could freeze time. Weapons that could make ships exist in multiple realities simultaneously. In 10 minutes, Earth destroyed or disabled over 1,000 ships. Not with explosions or energy beams, but with weapons that changed the basic rules of reality. Admiral Zephron watched his fleet being destroyed by forces he could not understand. His science officers were screaming that what they were seeing was impossible. His weapons officers reported that their most powerful attacks had no effect on Earth's shields. How? Admiral Zephron whispered. How is this possible? Jake Morrison answered him. We learned from you. 40 years ago, you sent a probe to watch Earth. We captured it. We studied it. We learned about your empire, your technology, your plans, and we prepared. But these weapons, they're using physics that don't exist. They exist now. We made them exist. That's what humans do. We take impossible things and make them possible. Amy Fletcher was monitoring communications from across the galaxy. Jake, we're getting signals from everywhere. Other species are watching this battle. They're seeing what Earth can do. What are they saying? They're saying that the age of conquest is over. They're saying that Earth has changed everything. On Earth, Dr. Kim was receiving messages from the 17 worlds that had asked for protection. Admiral Wright, our allies are reporting that their local Empire garrisons are surrendering. The Empire forces are too scared to fight after seeing what happened here. President Carter watched the battle on her screens. In less than an hour, Earth had destroyed the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. What happens now? Now we make peace, Admiral Wright said. But peace on our terms. Admiral Zephron's flagship was one of the few ships that had not been destroyed or disabled. He sent a message to Earth. I surrender. The Empire surrenders. Please stop the attack. The attack is already stopped, Jake Morrison replied. We only fire when fired upon. You fired upon us. We responded. What do you want from us? We want you to leave. We want you to free the worlds you conquered. We want you to stop attacking innocent species. And we want you to tell the galaxy that Earth is under new management. What do you mean, new management? Admiral Wright answered that question. Earth is now the protector of free worlds. Any species that wants protection from conquest will get it. Any world that wants independence will have it. The Empire's expansion is over. You cannot police the entire galaxy. Watch us. Over the next few weeks, everything changed. The 17 worlds that the Empire had conquered declared their independence. Earth's invisible ships appeared in their skies, protecting them from any attempt to reconquer them. Other species that had been afraid of the Empire began to contact Earth. They wanted protection too. They wanted to be free from the fear of conquest. Empire tried to fight back, but their remaining ships were no match for Earth's technology. Every time they attacked a free world, Earth's ships appeared and destroyed them. Admiral Kethfer was put in charge of negotiating peace between the Empire and Earth. He had been the first to understand that humans were not primitive. Now he was trying to save what was left of his civilization. The Empire agrees to your terms, he told Admiral Wright during the peace negotiations. We will free all conquered worlds. We will stop all expansion. We will join the new Galactic Council that Earth is creating. And in return, you will not destroy our home worlds. You will let the Empire exist as a peaceful member of the galactic community. Admiral Wright nodded. Agreed, but understand this. If the Empire ever attacks another world, Earth, we'll finish what you started here. Jake Morrison was promoted to Admiral and put in charge of the Galactic Peace Fleet. His job was to patrol the galaxy and protect free worlds from any species that tried to conquer them. The Whisper became the flagship of a fleet of invisible ships. Ships that could appear anywhere in the galaxy instantly. Ships that carried weapons that could rewrite the laws of physics. President Carter addressed the United Nations and announced Earth